Jillian Lin is the name of a dancer. When she was young, she was in school and could never sit still. She was always distracting the other kids. So one day, her mom took her to a dance school. She enjoyed dancing. And after that, she went on and made tons of theater productions, dances, routines, went on to make some of the most successful dances in history. She did Phantom of the Opera, she did Cats, the original play, and she was a multimillionaire. I believe that we should all have the chance to live like Jillian Lin. I think schools are filled with people like her, though most are not so lucky. People who are incredibly gifted in all different areas of life, but never have the chance to do things they want to because school makes them focus on other areas, just because they won't make a career out of it, or they don't seem to be good enough to follow it. We should all have the opportunity to go to a school where education is focused on the individual and helping them reach their full potential. Schools have not left room for what the students want. The American education system wants people to conform to it, as opposed to letting school be a tool students can use to help guide them to a more successful life of their own choosing. Which begs the question, what is school? What's the point? Well, according to the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development, the people that make the textbooks we use in school, the purpose of the American school is to provide for the fullest possible development of each learner for living morally, creatively, and productively in a democratic society. Hi, my name is Joshua Shulla, and today I will be talking to you about the failures of the American education system and what we can do to resolve it. So let's take a closer look at this first issue, morality. School fails to prepare us morally. Morality is the sense of right and wrong. If we want to raise better students, but also better children and citizens, we need to focus on moral and ethical classes. But they are neglected. According to Marvin Berkowitz, who speaks extensively on the importance of character development and character education, morality in the US has become a distant back burner thing. We talk about it politically, and maybe if there's a little bit of money left over, we might put it there, but probably not. In a poll taken by Lifeway in 2017, out of 1,000 people, 81% were worried that moral behavior was on the decline. Frankly, the 19 remaining percent is just as worrisome to me. Because if you look around, 110,000 college students are arrested every year for charges of possession or alcohol. 80% of college students are reported to abuse alcohol. Violence in just 2017 to 2018, the school year, increased by 113%, which would be 80% of schools recording one or more violent incidents, which is a total of 1.4 million incidents nationwide in that one school year alone. So obviously, we're not doing too well in that area. It should be clear to us that the true issue facing America right now is a moral one, and schools have the opportunity to change that. To teach not just academics, but also how to love and help other people, how to see things from their perspective, and how to maintain a strong, healthy mindset ready to take on any challenge thrown our way. But that is only one of the promises schools have failed to uphold. While activities such as drawing and writing and painting are certainly creative enterprises, true creativity goes much further than that. In fact, most businesses will agree that creativity is the difference between an average company and a successful one. Because creative thinking encourages teamwork, engagement, and it boosts morale. A survey taken by Adobe, 73% of businesses that focused on creativity were found to be more financially successful, and 80% of them had more satisfied customers. In that very same study, those same businesses were found to have happier and more productive employees as well. Music is another excellent example of the many real-world applications to creativity. While it may seem like a purely creative art, it is one of the most powerful tools to bringing people together, regardless of their differences or disagreements. For example, the Metallica show that had an audience of 1.6 million people. Surely not all of those members in the audience agreed on, say, politics or economy, but they all had common ground, and it brought all of them together into one group of people. But school also works the same side of the brain, worked by music, as math and language does. It actually has boosted some students' grades as well. So why don't we see the same classes as music taught to the same extent as, say, math or English? Why not? If we all enjoy music and it has numerous benefits, why shouldn't it be focused on? This one powerful thing is often overlooked because creative things are excluded from schools so often that people don't get a chance to pick them up. And finally, school fails to prepare us productively. 25% of 20 to 34-year-olds still live with their parents. School is supposed to teach you the skills to go out and get a job and live life and get on your own 2 feet, yet 1 out of every 4 young adults fails to do so. If school teaches long suffering and other jobs you need for, and skills that you need to get a job, that is not failing. That's not working. It is failing 25% of the people that go through said school system. 1.2 million American high school students drop out of school every year. That's 7,000 each day, or 1 every 26 seconds. And 26% of 4-year college students drop out in the first 2 years. So they obviously, by going through this very system designed to be productive, they are not showing signs of productivity. The system, again, is failing. And so let me do one more thing. Let me present you with a thought experiment. Supposing you're among the handful of high schoolers who graduate and get into college, assuming you're one of the few people who graduates college at all, on the off chance that you get a job that uses your degree, you can now spend the rest of your career paying student debt with a job there is a 53% chance you will enjoy. So tell me again, does this sound like a feature of a productive society? What about a creative one? However, this is exactly the type of job schools were made to prepare us for. The education system we have in place today was created by somebody named Horace Mann. He was born during the Industrial Revolution. So when he set out to create a system to help people get jobs, what he really wanted was to make people the best factory workers they could be. That is the same system used today, from the 1800s. It wasn't even until 1976 that disabled students were accepted into schools. That year was something called the IDEA Act, or the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, was put in place and enacted. Up until that point, schools had the right to turn away anybody with a mental or physical disability. This is how far behind school is. That's insane. That means a 50-year-old man today might have been denied the right to an education because he looked different. That's a big deal considering 61 million Americans have a disability. That is 26% of the population. So what does it say about a system? If we had to spend the better part of the last century fighting to give 26% of our own families and friends the right to an education. Matthew 28:19 says, "Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." We are called to go and teach all people. not just the ones we want to. And when that percentage we are ignoring makes up a fourth of America's population, it should be our duty to accept and embrace these people into our hearts, our homes, and our schools. So, what else does the Bible say? Well, first, I want to make one thing clear. People saw Jesus differently. Some saw him as God himself. Some saw him as a great prophet. And some thought he was a fraud. But all three agreed on one thing. Jesus was a great teacher. This is obviously important, considering that is how he portrayed himself. He valued this position as a teacher. Personally, I believe teachers have one of the most important jobs on the planet because almost every person in the world has had a teacher at one point or another. That's where they learn the information from. So, the Pharisees are often framed as the bad guys, if you will, of the story. Yet their defining trait that they did poorly was they added on to the Bible. They were bad teachers. They did not effectively teach what they were given. Jesus saw them as one of the most dangerous problems in their society because they were creating more and more rules that held the people back when they were supposed to enact more rules to point us towards a more full life in Jesus Christ. And finally, I do not mean to say that it's impossible to get this right. I've focused on a lot of problems so far, but I would like to take Finland as an example of how we do some things right. Finland is currently ranked the #1 best education system in the world, and has held that title for a few years. For perspective, I included America as the 20th best. That is where we are right now. Finland achieved this by essentially doing the opposite of everything America is. Right now, they have no standardized tests. They are admitted for free. They do not have homework for that matter either. And not only are their school days shorter, they start later in the day to provide students a full night's sleep. But they do not only lead our world in education, because they're also the happiest country in the world. Not only that, they ended homelessness. They created a system that they bought and paid for, and only 1 out of 5 people ever turned homeless again, and it was still cheaper than what we have in America today, allowing homelessness to continue. And then Finland went on to become the 7th cleanest country in the world. It is a good education system because it produces good people after school. This shows us 3 things. Education is the key to making good citizens, but you have to do it right. And America is not doing it right. In the real world, events will not present themselves as they do when learning about them in school. It takes creative problem solving to face them. Creativity is not based on any set formula. It is based on discovery, something that every field depends on, from art to science and math. Even in the classroom itself, thinking of creative ways to introduce a concept will forever change that student's experience of it, as well as their memory of it. Schools exist to help students succeed in life. If we discourage them from expressing just what it is they want to succeed in, we have already failed them. If we want to change the world, it starts with the people. And if we want to change the people, it starts in school. What we need now is to work to integrate in America a personalized education system that cultivates a creative environment for each individual, concentrating on their interests and strengths, focused on what the student can learn and not how much the teacher can teach. Thank you.